They've worked in hip-hop, Latin trap, country, rock, and EDM, and provided services to established artists like Meek Mill, Bad Bunny, Ty Dolla $ign. In music, there isn't much these guys can't do. Producers and engineers Cush, Breezy, and Bocci take me on a fun journey through the inner workings of making music, providing insights about their local and mainstream clientele, the role engineers and producers play, and their long-term goal of filling a professional and personal void for artists in South Florida.
What's the general reason why artists hit the studio? Is it a form of fun escapism or mental therapy?
It's a little bit of both. There's people who obviously come here just for the fun aspect of the music, but it also is a form of escape or therapy, the way you say. And artists cover everything from, personal things they're trying to overcome, experiences, or they just want to have good time in the studio making fun music.
Do you have like any recollection of one specific time where it turned really deep?
Yeah, actually, we had an artist, it was a few weeks ago or something like that, came here, and I guess he must have been going through a relationship woe, and it really reflected in his music. It came out, and we were all looking at each other like, wow, he's going through it. So, but you don't speak on it unless they open the door, and most times they don't. They just drop the music. Yeah, just leave it and keep working.
And what about work ethic? Like for relatively unknown artists, are they much more hungrier than mainstream artists, or do you find it really depends?
I don't necessarily say hungry because these guys are on the road. So I mean, I feel like their motives are hungry both ways. An artist that's already popping is hungry because he wants to tour. Versus a guy that's younger, he's just hungry just to get on. He's just trying to break a record, get something moving.
And mainstream artists perhaps have a bit more label pressure. What are your thoughts on that?
I think some do. I think some handle it. The ones that are comfortable in their skin, the ones that are comfortable with the product that they've been putting out for years, like the vets, I don't think they have any pressure. I think the pressure is on the young boys because they have to keep up with the trend and what they've been selling this entire time. So, yeah.
Who has the most leverage in music production, the artist or the producers?
Man, we're going deep. That's a deep one. Sometimes the artist comes in and we really need to guide the session. Other times it just, it kind of all comes together like a nice jump shot in the corner that Ray Allen hit. As we call it, it's like water. It's like watching a sweet jump shot. Some nights you have it, some nights you don't. Sometimes you got to stay in the gym for 3 hours after the game. Sometimes you just wrap it up and go home and call it a night, and it's a W.
You've worked with multiple genres of music: country, hip hop, Afro beats, reggae, EDM. How difficult is it to navigate these genres of music?
I mean, on the intellectual side of things, it's really a deep connection with music in general that brings us here. So I have to boil it down to the basics and say that, it's all a creative spirit. It really depends on the artist and the engineer and the connection they make. Regardless of what the music is that's coming out, it's sometimes it's just the magic happens, as we say in the industry, regardless of genre.
I almost lost it.
So you guys are producers and engineers. So how do you help artists discover their voice? What are some music jargons that you can teach me?
One for sure is the drench. Something drenchy. I like to embrace drench.
And what does drench mean?
Drench is another term that we use here at the studio for reverb. So it's kind of like a canyon echo kind of thing,
slight reflections on the reverb, and that's what really, that's drenched. There's a button on the plugin that'll say mix wet, so it kind of ties into the whole drench thing. The wetter you want it, the
more saturation.
More saturation
of the sound.
Yeah.
Right. All right, well, show me an example of your workflow.
So the drench is that canyon. It's that mountain. It's
Like
you
you
know,
said, you drive into the valley.
Yeah.
You know
I
what I
call it
mean?
the
You're on
Yeti.
the road.
This one in particular is called the Yeti.
So we get a little bit more technical. We like our reverbs to move, because reverb is just a stereo, but when we control it and say, like for instance, the flanger on it or a Doppler on it, not to give away too much of our sauce.
Yeah, don't give it.
But so we like
We'll play it dry real quick, just so he can kinda
bypass
hear
them.
No, I'll go far, but my heart just feels
That's how it came to us.
it. Dry vocal, just raw track.
Then you put the Yeti.
Every day, I
And it sounds like she's in Mount Everest.
So dry vocals, and then you add
Yeah.
the Yeti, as you say.
Sauce it up,
Yeah,
as we
sauce it
say.
up a little
Sauce it,
bit.
you know, look, all the ingredients. Like I think he makes a great analogy. It's like someone baking, or anyone, a cook, a chef. You know, you take all these ingredients, a vocal track, a artist performance, the production, you know, the post production stuff, and kind of put it all in and bake your cake. And when you're done, you know,
Breezy. Thank you so much.
my brother,
I really
thank
appreciate you.
We
Chris,
appreciate it.
Of course, Bocci. Thank you so much, man.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Love.